This podcast is sponsored by Happy Warrior Kava. Be a happy warrior. Drink, relax, and enjoy the strong and smooth taste of the best-selling kava in the islands. Happy Warrior Kava.
Aloha and welcome to another edition of HNN Overtime, the Hawaii News Now sports podcast. It's me, Kyle Chinen, joined as always by Cienna Pilotin, Davis Pitner. What's up, y'all?
Going on?
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
We're recording this very early in the
Very
morning.
early. This
We're
is
here for
probably
it, though.
the earliest we've ever recorded a podcast.
Yes.
I would say so, yeah.
I think
would say
so.
so.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
how dedicated we are.
We are very dedicated
yes, and
to
we will
y'all.
bring the heat, even
Oh.
if it's way past the way that like I should be in bed.
It's still bedtime, and
Yep.
speaking of bring the heat, it's chilly out, so we're gonna bring the
Is
heat.
Is
it?
it chilly, though?
I mean,
Is
I
it
was kind of. It was a
You're
little
a little
brisk
cold?
when I
Oh
walked
my
out the house this
goodness.
morning.
A little brisk.
I was
could-
like, not at least for me, not enough to put on a jacket, but enough to be like, ooh, it's wintertime.
Did he put on the heated seats?
The heated seats.
morning?
If you think my brand new 2003 Toyota has heated seats, you have another thing coming. The only way I get heated seats is if I just literally light a match in my
You
car.
just- yeah.
Oh
all right.
no.
I mean,
I don't know. I got used to the cold playing in Oregon. It
Yeah, you
got
guys
pretty
are
chilly in the
literally-
snow.
but here's the thing, Davis, your body like completely resets once you come home. Like when I used to come home for like Christmas break,
Yeah.
I'd be hit in the face by the hot humidity in the Hawaii air, and then I get on the plane in January to go back to school, and my body was completely reset. I was
Yeah,
such a
yeah.
little baby about it. I was like, I'm chewy. Like
You ch-
I need to stay inside. I need my blanket. But yes,
What was
we're.
it? So yeah,
Heated
little
blanket?
crisp.
I've never been in the heated blanket
I've
category.
never either. I don't.
Neither.
Any
Yeah.
of y'all in the weighted blanket category?
No.
Me
No,
neither.
I don't
no.
believe in that.
No.
Our very own Casey Lund has one, and
Wow.
we were hanging
He
out.
would have one.
I mean, hey, he likes it cozy, but it was me. Sorry, this is a little quick tangent. It was me, Casey, and our Sunrise producer, Kainoa Enos. And Kainoa Enos was in one end of his living room. And then Casey, he's like, oh, do you want a blanket? He's like, yeah, it's kind of cold. Chucks the thing. It's like 5 pounds worth of
5
like
yeah,
pound
those
sand.
are heavy.
And
I have
dude-
that too. Yeah.
Dude got
feel like
hit
I'm
and flew
suffocating.
back. And I was like, what is in that thing?
Yeah, it's heavy.
It is heavy.
That is heavy.
I don't know what the purpose is.
I
but
mean, we don't also live in like
yeah.
New York.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Maybe,
Exactly.
maybe I wouldn't be complaining.
It's
if I
not
had
winter
that.
in New York right now. It's
No.
winter in Hawaii.
It is.
Ooh.
Wow.
Sure.
Speaking of Hawaii, we our
Okay.
That was like a
football-
decent
It was a
transition. That
decent-
was
It's
like a
too
decent.
early, y'all.
was
It is
way
too early.
It's too early, y'all. But speaking of which, our home team football team coming back from
Yes.
Nevada Reno with
Yep.
a win.
Yay.
Much needed win.
Yay.
This was a big one on the road. First time in the
Yep.
Timmy Chang era
Yep.
that Hawaii has gotten a win on the road. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, Nevada's not the most talented.
I was
team
gonna
out
say,
there.
I think in our last episode, this was really Hawaii's game to lose.
Yeah.
Right? This, I mean, Nevada just on paper, they just weren't a good team, but Hawaii hasn't played all the best too.
Yeah.
So I think it was a toss-up, but I mean, it was kind of clear that UH was gonna come out of this with a win.
It was definitely one because Nevada's also kind of in a similar situation as Hawaii, as in a rebuild, kind of new second-year head coach, a lot of pieces not necessarily fitting into place as far as the team goes. And I mean, you kind of saw that they went with 2
Wow.
quarterbacks this game.
Wow.
Shout out Trevor Camello. He's the one who makes these for UH. He is the GOAT.
Usually I get pictures, but then I saw this. I'm like,
Oh, this
wow,
is great.
this is pretty good.
Trevor-
Wow.
Trevor cooks every time.
This
Trevor
is it.
cooks.
It really wasn't bad.
A lot of Verdell shots.
I just
for-
like the slow-mo
Considering
shots.
that he.
Got it checked.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But
Oh,
wow.
CB.
The Lions Den.
The Lions Den showing out. Speaking of Lions Den and the defense, let's talk about that right now. Actually, 6 sacks and 2 turnovers. That defense was actually firing on all cylinders. I mean, see a takeaway right
Wow,
there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, hit him with him.
Saucy.
Yeah.
Hit him with him.
No,
And then-
the defense was great. I mean, I told Billy B this. The defense was the MVP of the game. There's
Yep.
Peter Manuel right there with a pick to the end zone. And this is the first time Hawaii has won the turnover battle all season, and it shows. Like, this is the remedy to win.
Right.
You have to be able to take the ball away, give your offense good field position, and get their offense off the field. Like,
Exactly.
You don't want your offense sitting down on the bench all day.
Yeah, you gotta let Shager do his thing.
I mean, look,
like
boom.
He hit
A little
him
sauce
with
to it.
Shager 21 for 38, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ashlock, both of those touchdowns.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
throw
great.
it
9
He's
receptions, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Shager is now ranked 7th in the nation.
I mean,
with 2,768 yards and 22 touchdowns.
I mean, I was telling, like I said, like C said too, I was telling Billy V on Sunday, this was probably their most complete game as a team.
Yeah.
Defense was doing their part. Offense, I mean, for besides the first quarter for both teams, they didn't score a point. But, you know, once that second quarter kind of rolled in, their offense started to feel comfortable. They started to feel comfortable. And I mean, it showed. Shager with the little swag, little sully at the end.
That was good
for throwing darts or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, but I mean, it was impressive to see, and it was kind of a glimpse of what this team, what their capabilities are. And so, I mean, maybe going forward, it's something
I think
of an
this is
expectation.
what like they needed to, like
Right.
a morale
They
boost.
did
Oh, yeah.
need
really,
this.
especially for the
100%.
defense. I mean, 76 yards, throwing 1 interception. They were limiting Bianco to this. 15 carries, 63 yards. Also, Bianco, I mean, they've struggled with dual threat quarterbacks in the past, and so it's nice to see that they actually, shut one down.
Yeah, this was a big one. It's hard to tell, too, just based off of Nevada and the talent they have. They're just not a good team.
Yeah.
So a win is a win at the end of the day, especially coming off of a terrible loss.
Yeah,
a shutout loss
absolutely, yeah.
against
Yeah,
San
it was a
Jose
rough
at
one.
home. So they needed this, but going into this upcoming week, actually tomorrow, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be really tough.
Talk about shutout losses.
Oh, man. This is it might be Davis Pitner. It might be.
I mean,
I hope it's not.
Yeah.
But it's going to be bad.
It's
Air
gonna
Force
be rough.
is good. They're the
Air
best team in the
Force,
Mountain
yeah.
West.
Yep.
They are coming off of a loss to their rival Navy, where they only put up 3 points. So they're for sure going to come out firing, ready to go. I just hope it can be competitive.
It's just rough with Air Force ranked first in the Mountain
Yeah.
West.
Sorry, see, Army.
Army.
I mean,
Wait,
yeah,
what?
it was Army.
Yeah.
You said Navy.
Oh, Army. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's all good. It's okay.
You know what, guys? It's early.
It is early.
It is early. Yeah.
My bad for getting this confused on Veterans Day weekend. Like,
I mean,
apparently some people have the
Yeah.
day off.
literally everybody says, "Oh, what are you doing today?" I'm like, "I'm in the office, dog."
I will say though, the
Hey, no
traffic
breaks
into
off.
work was
Yeah,
nice.
the no
The
traffic,
no traffic was nice.
sensational. I live on the windward side, and the Like Tunnel.
Oh, that's
eastbound
right.
Yeah.
It's still closed, so I had to take a little loop to get
traffic alert. The
here.
First
First alert, traffic.
First
Shout
alert,
out Jonathan Masaki,
Our veteran.
our veteran.
Armed
Yes.
veterans.
But no, I mean, it's always one of those things. I mean, Navy, Army, whatever service school you face, besides an Air Force team that can throw the ball a lot, it's a run team. It's a run
Always
first
the
team.
same
Yeah.
thing. It's run first.
Every week.
Yeah.
And if history has shown us anything, this UH defense against the run, not the most successful. So I think, like, we're all kind of saying this or thinking this, it's going to be a tough one for this defense. It's going to be interesting to see if what they were able to do against Nevada can translate into this weekend against Air Force. But the Falcons have been rolling.
Tough. Yeah, I don't know. Even if Hawaii plays the best game they can, like they mimic what they did last week, I
Right.
just think it might just come down to talent, and
Yeah.
Air Force just has more.
And I mean, we talk about rushing. I keep talking about the stats, but I think the numbers kind of show a lot about a team, right?
Yeah.
I just want to point out Air Force versus Colorado State. This was 2 games ago. They won 30-13.
Oh my God.
But their main guy is Emmanuel Michel, their running back. He had 130 yards in that game and 1 touchdown. A little bit more about him. He is actually ranked 40th in the nation in terms of rushing yards.
Boy.
So another issue for UH with running backs. A little bit about 163 rushes, 9 touchdowns, and 733 yards in the season. UH has struggled again and again with the rushing game. This is not looking good, guys.
And I mean,
No, it's not.
No, and Air Force's plan of attack week in and week out is controlling the clock, keeping their offense on the field as long as possible. So it's going to be tough for, say, the UH offense, especially if they start slow again or they just keep getting 3 and outs early on. They might not get so many opportunities in this game to get on offense because Air Force tends to control time of possession, keep the ball in your offense's hands, and just run that clock. So it's gonna have to take a team effort, and this offense, I mean, it's like philosophically, it's a faster offense than Air Force's, so they need to start quick to just get points whenever they can get on the field.
Let me just point out to you that Colorado State game, their quarterback had 32 yards thrown.
Wow.
I mean,
It was all a rushing game. That's it. It's a rush first offense.
It's a rush. It's a rush first offense. I will say that game it was a snowball, but still they are a run first offense. Their quarterback really, I mean, he warms up his throwing arm maybe like just
as like a backup.
Tossing it. He's just kind of tossing the ball around. There's no point.
There's really no
That's
point.
kind of crazy, actually.
Under center, I mean, like the center probably doesn't even need to know how to shotgun snap when you go to Air Force, right? I mean, all under center, all run first. It's just downfield, hit you in the mouth. Oh, it's gonna be
Air Force though, getting in the spirit. Look at this that they posted.
Oh my goodness.
I love that.
They're getting
That's
in the
hilarious.
island spirit that was on their posts.
I think it's fun. I mean, most of the Mountain West teams, when they come to Hawaii, they do something like
love
this.
It's like every time.
Every time. I mean, the most recent one I can think of is literally for homecoming for San Jose State.
I was just gonna
Yes.
say that.
I mean, it wasn't their mascot, but their Hawaii representative, Chevin Cordero. They always roll him out for the They roll him out for the photo shoots every time they play Hawaii. I mean, it's
I've
every
never
other
seen
player
such
but
a
him.
long photo shoot for a player. Like
And you
they,
just know
they went
he didn't wanna
all
do it.
out. Like,
Yeah, and knowing
so many
Chevin,
different angles.
Please.
Like
knowing Chevin, he did not want to be in in that photo shoot. He was like, I need to go home. I'd like to hang out and not do this. But yeah, I mean, every Mountain West team that comes and plays here in Hawaii, they like to do a little fun.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to,
buy
yeah.
into
You have
into
to.
it. I mean, when people go to Vegas, they kind of put
Yep,
something
yep.
with the strip on there. So it just depends where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
really does. It really does. Well, I mean, we'll see about UH. It's going to be a tough one for them against Air Force. We will have all the highlights. But speaking about highlights, there's lots of highlights from high school football that we need to talk about recently. We were talking about the championships last week. Those were some crazy games. I was at the Kahuku one in the Open OIA championship.
Shout out to Milani.
Millville's finest right here.
I'm staying quiet.
Millville's finest right here.
I doubted you, but a lot of people
I'm
did.
pretty sure
doubted
everyone
it.
doubted.
Congratulations.
I mean, here's the thing. I
What's
remember.
the thing?
Here-
I
here we
remember
go.
my boys, my friends. Shout out to the boys if you're listening. Flamed me for my takes last week's episode for this OIA championship game. But in the end, they're like, I mean, you're being kind of realistic.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Kahuku going in was number 8 in the country via maxpreps.com.
Yep.
They had also never lost to a Hawaii team since 2019. So when you look at those kind of things and you look at a team that's been consistently rolling all season long, I mean, they upset St. John Bosco earlier in the year. So when you look at all these factors, I mean, Milani, yes, they only lost one game to Puno in the beginning of the year, and then they went on a complete run, undefeated after that point. I mean, the level of competition that they faced compared to, say, like Kahuku, it just didn't really add up. Because, I mean, no offense to these other teams, but when you're playing a Kailua or a Radford or a Castle, right?
Totally.
When you have those on your schedule, you can't necessarily gauge this team properly because they're just on a different level. But, I mean, credit where credit is due. It was a very, for me, I know you guys probably thought it was an exciting one. For me, it was very stressful.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was so stressed.
Because Milani was up every time I checked, and it was just kind of like, okay, when are they going to give it away? Like, I was just waiting for it. I'm like, there's no way Kahuku allows this.
Watching this game, just one name, Kenny McMillan.
Yeah.
That player won that game for
great.
Milani. 272 yards throwing, 108 yards rushing, which is probably something that Kahuku did not expect at all. This McMillan hasn't been a rushing quarterback all season.
Like I said with their schedule, he didn't really need to, right? If he was able to pass it that much against these other teams, they probably weren't expecting.
And we knew about his throwing too. We knew he was a top ranked quarterback for
so
passing.
accurate.
Just
He's
no
been throwing
one
dots.
Yeah, just no one thought about that rushing attack.
Oh.
And the defense came in clutch too. They had a great game. Overall, Milani just the better team in this game.
I think that's what another thing Kahuku wasn't planning on. They were expecting that they could run all over this defense because, in years past, Milani has not necessarily put up great defenses, but this is a great defense. One of the better defenses that Milani has had in a long while. I think you can harken back to the 2014, 2013 teams with the likes of Rex Manu, Dayton Fruta. That was probably the last time I think like a Milani defense really was the standout part of this team.
State championship, how's it looking against fourth Campbell?
We already beat him once.
Yeah.
Campbell, they have a great quarterback, a young guy in Jaren Kiave Sangapolatele, but the quarterback play can only take you so far. He's still young. He's still got a little bit of that raw talent. He still has some stuff to figure out.
Milani's just a better team.
Yeah, they're rolling.
After this weekend,
so.
I'm like, wow. And the thing too, it was a neutral site game. I just wonder if this was in Kahuku, would things have been different?
Yeah.
I know
It looks like a Kahuku.
it was just, I'm sure there were a lot of red out there. It was just kind of like neutral site. Who's the better team? Milani showed up, but because when they beat Bosco, Kahuku beat Bosco, they were out in their house.
Yeah.
So things kind of change when you're out there on the North Shore.
Wild.
It's gonna be an interesting play. Who would have thought at the beginning of the year that Kahuku would end up being the third seed?
Nobody would have
and
thought.
it'd go Milani, Punahou, Kahuku, Campbell. It makes for an exciting state tournament because now, yes, we have Milani, Campbell, but also now we have Kahuku, Punahou, which I think a lot of us thought was going to be the state championship game, not a semifinal game.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. What if we have another Kahuku Milani?
It's a good possibility.
That'd be a crazy
I
rematch.
think that's what people want at this point.
I think people kind of want it.
Milani Punahou.
I'm sure Kahuku fans want it. I think they want
Kahuku
some
is
little
probably-
revenge on
For
Milani.
sure.
They're probably very motivated is the word I'll use. They're very motivated to get this win and to get back into the title match. It'll be a rematch of last year's state tournament final. Punahou with a new quarterback in Ty McCutcheon after John Kiave Sangapolatele. He's now a freshman at UH. So it's going to be interesting to see if this not a young guy in Ty McCutcheon, but his first year as a starter, see what he has in store for the Kahuku Red Raiders. But me being a little bit of a football historian here, the state tournament final could end up being a rematch of Milani Punahou back in 2014, which
He just likes anything to shout himself out.
Just anything.
I barely played that
Nobody-
state championship game. Let's just be real. I barely played. But it's
How
always
was that
nice.
atmosphere, though?
Absolutely insane. It was at Aloha Stadium.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Honestly, any game at Aloha Stadium during the playoffs was absolutely
It was
bananas.
just different back then.
Um,
Back in my day.
back in my day, it was a proper state champ. No, I'm kidding. But
it was a big deal.
It was a
to
big
make
deal.
it to this
Yeah.
state championship, the hype was real. It didn't feel like any other game.
Literally getting off the bus and walking through the North Tunnel across the field. You just felt it just felt different. It was different from just showing up to my parking lot and going into my locker room and walking
Yeah.
2.5 miles down to the stadium. But no, you walk through the field, you go into like the UH lockers, and you're just like, this is different. And I mean, speaking of like Milani Kahuku, back when I was a senior, we played them for the OIA championship at Aloha Stadium, and that was probably the loudest stadium environment I had ever been in. I could not hear the snap. I could not hear cadence. It was insane. And
Wow.
I had like 3 bad snaps. I had 3 false starts. That was all on me.
Happens to the best of us.
Sorry to Dylan Gabriel. Sorry to Vavai Malapai, and sorry to Casey Higa for that. That was all. That's on me. I'll take that one. But no, it's gonna be an exciting. I think from top to bottom, all divisions in the state tournament is gonna be pretty exciting, because you want to talk about D1. You have some horses there. You have, kind of the Cinderella story of it all. You have Lahaina Luna in the D1.
That's true.
They start their run at a title tonight, actually, or excuse me, tomorrow, I believe. They play Kapa'a, so
Interesting.
that'll be an interesting one for sure.
I'm happy for Lahaina
Shout out
Luna.
to the Outer Islands. Yes, I am happy too. What a story! Like,
Literally, what a story! Yeah.
Yeah. It really is.
No matter how far they go or don't go in this tournament, like just being there and even having a season after everything they've been through is just amazing.
Absolutely.
And so shout out to those boys out there on the Valley Isle.
Literally.
Yep.
It's gonna be an interesting one. I found it interesting just the way the seating is for the D1. All of the Oahu teams are on one side of the bracket, and all the Outer Island teams are on the other side.
I didn't know that, actually.
So it pretty much confirms an Oahu versus Outer Island team is going to play for the state title, which is always fun when the Outer Islands.
That'll be interesting.
That'll
be kinda
definitely
cool.
be interesting. And then in the D2, it's absolute bedlam. You just can't predict D2 games the way everybody plays. Let me just pull up the bracket right here just for the D2. Tonight we have Roosevelt taking on Kamehameha Hawaii, and then Pac-5 Kamaki. So, putting Roosevelt and Kamaki on opposite ends of the bracket could also set up a rematch of the
I'd
OIA title
rather
game.
they face other people now, and we'll see what happens. But
Yeah. It's going to be crazy.
so it's Veterans Day weekend.
Yeah.
I know a lot of fun plans are happening around the island. But I just wanted to talk to you guys.
Okay. All right.
All
Before
right.
we end it,
Yeah.
what are your guys's? Well, one, I want to know what you guys are doing this weekend, Veterans Day, and also for like barbecues and parties. Like, I know it's very much a big thing here. The weather's nice outside.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Like, what are you guys bringing to the potluck?
I know.
What
Davis?
is your food of choice?
Well, for me, it's actually a very laid back weekend. We're not doing actual barbecuing, but for the times that I have had barbecues in the past, the number one, I would say, potluck item here is kalbi.
Okay.
Little
So good.
freshly grilled
Yeah.
kalbi, a little crisp on the edges. You just can't go wrong with it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big guy. I'll eat several kalbis on top of rice. Get that little flavor on the rice too. Go-to item right there for me.
I like that. Are you so like? I love it when the boys are just like, "Hey guys, I got the grill. Just bring whatever."
Yeah.
So like you bring like the
Oh,
marinated
yeah,
kalbi,
yeah,
and just,
yep.
so it's
So good.
fresh. Oh,
You have to get
I
that
like-
fresh kalbi.
a good
Burgers
pick.
too are always, a good thing.
Can't go
but
wrong with a burger or a hot dog.
kalbi is just different.
Oh yeah, definitely. I bring the utensils. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You would bring
I'm
that.
kidding.
That's the problem.
Utensils and bags of chips. No. Napkins.
Some guac.
Cups. The Tostitos scoops.
Okay, I'm not mad at that though.
It depends on the dip
A
though.
good dip.
A good-
I'm not mad at that.
A good layered bean dip.
Yep.
Or my mom makes this kamaboko dip with the fish cake, the pink stuff.
Interesting.
It's
I
it's
don't
pretty
eat
good.
that.
I will say though, mine is probably I love bringing like any sort of chicken dish, because like I know
Easy.
everybody makes
That's
the beef or like pork, whatnot. But I always either it's like the wings like in the bag, or like some days I'll marinate some chicken to throw on the grill. I love a good grilled chicken,
Ooh.
right? Like a grilled
Do
chicken.
you marinate it like a day before?
Yeah,
Oh,
what
yeah,
are you
you have-
marinating?
You have
Yeah.
to. It's my dad's like secret marinade. It's almost
Oh,
like a
it's a
shoyu
secret.
teriyaki, like shoyu
Ooh.
teriyaki chicken.
Wow.
You got the green onions in there, so it like sticks to the chicken.
Should do like an overtime recipes or like.
Oh, we're
something
gonna make
put
a
our-
cookbook this year.
Make a
Oh,
cookbook.
I
Oh,
mean, mine
pre-
will be real thin because I'm not cooking nothing.
Pre-order it now for your Christmas gifts
Yeah.
ideas. Either that or if you-
Overtime overcooked.
overcooked
Yes.
by HNN Overtime.
No
Pre-order
one
now.
would buy it.
I'd buy it. I'd buy it.
Overcooked.
Overcooked by
Just
HNN
overcooked.
Overtime.
I mean, of course you'd buy it. It's ours. Who
I mean,
else? No one else here
We're
would
having a
buy
book
it.
signing at Barnes and Nobles, guys. Like,
Outside of, because they won't let
Outside.
us in.
we don't have the permit to
Literally
be
won't let
there.
us in.
They're gonna get kicked out by security. Like, you guys
Basically,
can't be out front.
yeah, they wouldn't allow us.
But yeah, I love chicken. You know,
Okay.
the chicken rice, and then you also got to get the kalbi, or like if someone brings us like steak.
Ooh.
Oh yes.
Ooh, that's
My
good.
favorite is
Yes.
the Portuguese sausage. I
Oh,
could snack on
yes.
that
Yep.
all day.
Yep.
I think like for a good barbecue, always has to have burgers and hot dogs. Like someone got to bring it,
Yep.
and if it's not there, I'll bring it. Like it's so easy.
So easy.
But Portuguese sausage is my favorite.
That's the best.
And
Yep.
I don't really eat steak and stuff. And I mean, chicken's fine, but like growing up when we'd host barbecues at my house, my dad knew to get like 4 Portuguese sausages because
You got
that's all I ate. Like,
ah.
yeah, that's my favorite.
I think some honorable mentions would be, especially here in Hawaii. I know, like, I don't know. I know you're not really a seafood person, but like,
No.
like poke, you gotta have the poke bar. You gotta,
Yeah,
you gotta,
especially here.
Yeah. And
Do you guys like those red hot dogs?
I do love a good red hot dog.
It's pretty
Especially,
good.
You,
when,
Davis?
when they come in the
I'm
bento.
all about like the normal hot dogs, but the red hot dogs, I'm still getting used to. I would say.
I'm not a fan of the red hot dogs.
I do
Yeah.
I
I'm
do
not
love
sure
a
why
good red
it's
hot dog.
Sweet. And the
I-
color throws me off.
Yeah.
Speaking of red, and like chicken, have you guys had? Yeah, have you
I
guys
don't
had?
know where this
well,
is
have you guys
going.
had? Have you guys
You
had?
should cook your chicken
I don't
all
know
day.
if
No,
the red
have you guys
chicken-
had char siu chicken?
I don't like
Oh
char siu
yeah.
chicken.
Oh.
I
Actually
don't
like
like a lot
it.
of things. Like, it's just,
Happy as a clam with the Portuguese sausage, some chips.
I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, I'm very much an appetizer girly, so I will get
mm-hmm.
full off of the chips, the guac, the salsa,
It's all good.
any like type of things that I can chew on, munch on, and then my meal is just like a bunch of Portuguese sausage. Invite me to your barbecue. It's real easy, honestly.
Not too picky, but
Like, I'm not
Yeah.
asking for fancy calvi or anything.
like you don't even need to bring a grill. Just
Yeah.
cook that stuff. I do remember like if I'd go camping with like the family though, like when you wake up to the smell of Portuguese sausage.
It's
oh
Oh
my
my
goodness.
goodness.
so
Yeah.
nothing hits more
Yeah.
than that.
Nothing
It's
hits
different.
than waking up, hearing the ocean, and then just that.
'Cause it has that
and you're like,
smell.
Yeah, that smell just
Yeah.
gets you.
Ooh.
Yeah,
oh, I love
You're a
it.
camping
that's
guy?
good.
I mean, as a kid, I was not so much now, but as a kid, it was a big family thing. Spend the Veterans Day weekend. Or,
Yep.
There you go.
At the beach camping out. Are you guys also? Have you guys have friends that like just bring desserts? You guys like
I'm very much the
You always have to
dessert
have
friend.
like the cookie platter.
the cookie
I'm
platter?
very much
is,
that
Yeah.
friend.
There's this platter of like brownies from Foodland.
Yeah,
With the
it's
little
so good.
powdered sugar on them.
Yeah.
Those hit.
I don't know what they put in those, but it's so much better than any other
good.
brownie.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it's so cheap.
You know what? Completely different side note.
Uh-huh,
Something
uh-huh.
that I just had
Famous.
yesterday.
Oh.
I had pumpkin mochi for the first time.
Wait,
Ooh.
It's
where'd
like
you get
a
that?
From
limited
where?
edition from Foodland. They have it
Oh.
for limited time.
I
But
need to
that
go
was
get
like
some now.
the best thing actually ever.
Really?
Really?
Wow, Davis never
It
hyped
was really.
anything
It,
up.
it tasted like a pumpkin pie kind of like type of thing. So-
Those are 2 of my favorite things in this world.
Try it. I would
I'm
say
We're
gonna
gonna
try
have
it.
to go
some
get
after
some.
this
Yeah.
Pretty
for
good.
my breakfast.
I mean, yeah.
Don't-
I know.
I can't
it is
wait.
breakfast.
I
isn't
honestly
it?
can't
It
wait.
is
Speaking of food, it's breakfast time, but I can't wait for the Thanksgiving episode later this month so we can talk
Ooh.
Thanksgiving food.
I
Got
have
some
We-
yummy
we
things.
have some
Got
opinions
some
for that
yummy
one.
things.
Ooh. But yes, I mean, hopefully, UH doesn't get eaten by Air
There it
Force
is.
this weekend.
He's
eaten
waking
alive.
up. He's waking up
I'm
now.
getting into it.
He's waking up.
Getting
He's
into
good.
it. But I think that was a lot of fun.
That was pretty good.
We stayed awake the entire
We did
time.
stay awake.
We
Not bad for a
did.
morning episode.
Not bad
Not
for a
bad at
morning
all.
podcast.
Not bad.
Thank you guys so much for listening or watching this edition of HNN Overtime. To catch our other episodes, you can head to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get the rest of our HNN podcasts. And be sure to check out the video version on our YouTube channel. For Cienna, Pilotin, Davis, Pitner, I'm Kyle Chinen. See you next time.
This podcast is sponsored by Happy Warrior Kava. Be a happy warrior. Drink, relax, and enjoy the strong and smooth taste of the best-selling kava in the islands. Happy Warrior Kava.